3.
All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about 3 things altogether. One of them is sound waves. We've already talked about that last week. And then with that, we're going to dive a little deeper into something called frequency and amplitude. So first of all, sound waves, those are things that are kind of moving about through the air. And as sound happens, and you can't see them, so we're going to look and see what, maybe visualize what those things look like, okay, since we can't see them. So first, let's talk about amplitude. The word amplitude is volume. Volume is how loud or how quiet something is. And I want you to look at the board to kind of see what that looks like on a graph, because in a little while you'll be graphing something. So first you have a graph that shows you if I am talking, like right now I'm speaking and I'm not speaking very loud, my amplitude is not very loud. And so if I were to graph my voice right now, you might see a wave pattern kind of like this. It's low to this line, and actually I have a low voice. We'll talk about pitch in a minute, but it's low and it's kind of wide, okay? So that's what amplitude is talking about, the volume, okay, how loud or quiet something is. And then if I'm speaking loudly, it would be much higher, okay? The wave would be really high. So that, if I were to be measuring my voice on something called a oscilloscope, which is measuring sound, it would look, and I was speaking loudly, it would look a lot like this, all right? Let's move on to the next thing that I want you to think about, pitch. Now, pitch is how high or how low something is. Maybe you can think of a large instrument, maybe a double bass. You would have very low pitch. And if you had maybe a flute, it would be a very high pitch. Pitch is talking about the word frequency. Frequency is pitch, how high or low. Now, what would that look like on a graph? It would look just like this. So if I'm speaking very lowly, you would see really wide waves. If I were to have a very high-pitched voice, you would see a lot of waves. Now, I wanted to demonstrate, I have a metallophone here, and this is a bass metallophone. So if I play something on one of the large bars, I get a low sound. And if I play something on the short bars, I get a very high pitch. Now, when I play this high pitch, I'm gonna play, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it loudly and a high pitch. So if I play that, and if I were to be graphing that, I would get something that looks like this, because it's high pitch and it'd be a lot of waves, and it would be wide waves, okay? But if I were to play something like this, really quiet, I would get, my amplitude would be, the waves would be low, it's high, so it would still be a lot of them, okay? Now, if I were to play something low, loudly, I would get, for the amplitude would be high, like wide, like tall waves, and it would be low, they would be really wide, okay? So that's basically the concept that I'm trying to get across to you is volume is amplitude and pitch is frequency, okay? That's it.